Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from strange UFO sightings to clips of cryptids we never even thought could exist. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive right in. You know, when I first saw this clip, I laughed. You might be wondering why, and I'll tell you. This clip was recorded by a hiker in Alaska who had been enjoying her expedition. After wearing her hat for so long, she decided to take it off and enjoy some of that Alaskan breeze. What she didn't count on was hearing strange sounds anytime she moved her hand over her head. That's actually what prompted her to record. In the beginning, it was funny till she stated it made her feel weird. When I heard her say that, my conspiracy-inclined mind went wild.
I don't like how it feels. I'm putting my hat back on.
For those who don't know, Alaska's associated with many things, one of which is aliens, spaceships, and motherships. When she stated she felt weird, a part of me felt that surely they might have stumbled on some alien technology which was affecting them as humans. While that did sound interesting, the logical part of my brain said, no, this is just static discharge. And just like that, my fun and interesting theory was gone. For those unfamiliar with the phenomenon, in extremely cold and dry conditions, like those found in Alaska during winter, the air has very low humidity, which makes it easier for static electricity to build up on the body and clothing. When she took her hat off, the friction between her hair and the hat likely created an electric charge. If she then moved her hands near her head, the static electricity could have discharged tiny sparks, creating a faint, high-pitched sound. Some people describe it as TV tuning or crackling noises. This happens because the ear is sensitive to electrical activity, and the discharge can stimulate the auditory nerve, making the person hear the static even if there's no external sound source. It's harmless, but it can be an eerie experience. Either that or the conditions were right for St. Elmo's fire. You might want to look that one up.
¿Dónde está esa luz que está enfocando? Esa lámpara, mire, un objeto rojo, a ver la arena, mire cómo está brincando.
Moving on to something a bit more paranormal, we got this clip that got many in the community excited. This was allegedly recorded by a business owner whose time at work was interrupted by some strange sounds. He looked around and saw nothing. Given the time, he decided to use his CCTV since it was safer and could show him an overview of the entire facility. What he saw is exactly what you are seeing. You see it, don't you? In the darkness, there is a being moving, and its movements are far from natural. The owner was shocked and recorded prolonged sessions. His final conclusion concerning the whole thing was that he was dealing with a ghost. He uploaded it asking if anyone had seen anything like it. Naturally, the opinions were varied, but for us, this isn't new. We've had clips like this on our channel. The big question now is this really a genuine clip? I'll look to the comments section for your answers.
Guys, I kind of feel like I should call someone. This girl has been standing here completely like a statue, like this, for 15 minutes.
Speaking of clips that need your opinions, take a look at this one as well. The lady recording stated that the woman in the clip had been staring into thin air for 15 minutes. She initially thought it was funny, but as it went on, it became weird, and she concluded something was up. She recorded the clip and uploaded it asking if anyone had seen anything like this. Some who commented suspecting it was a glitch in the Matrix. They assumed the Matrix had malfunctioned and caused the lady to stand the way she did, like an NPC. Some weren't too sure about this and chastised the woman for not going for help. She felt she could have suffered an absence seizure. For those unfamiliar with the term, it's a brief, sudden lapse in awareness, often lasting less than 10 seconds, when a person may stare blankly, stop mid-activity, or exhibit small repetitive movements like blinking or lip-smacking. It's common in children, but also seen in adults. They usually are the result of abnormal electrical activity in the brain, often linked to genetics, stress, lack of sleep, or hyperventilation. While that looks like what we are seeing, she did mention this had gone on for 15 minutes, which makes it a bit unlikely based on what we've learned so far. Any medical person here to help? Either way, you've seen the clip, so what do you think?
I kind of feel like I should call someone. This girl has been standing here completely like a statue, like this, for 15 minutes. At first I thought...
The weirdness does not stop there, though. Take a good look at this clip that was taken in Manila in the Philippines. It allegedly dates back to the year 2000, which might explain the image quality. We're not here to debate image fidelity, though. No, pay attention to the image. You see the translucent individual holding the arm of the girl on the right. Right? That's definitely not normal, and the ladies insist that there was no one there when they took the image. This left one obvious response to the image: a ghost. But is it really one, though? Well, it's hard to say. Commenter who claimed to be in Manila stated he was going to visit the same location to snap a photograph and see if the spirit would reappear. Honestly, I'm not holding my breath, but I have to admit, it is intriguing. Maybe we'll revisit this mystery once he shares his update. Until then, what do you guys think?
What the fuck?
Alien looking, right? So, is this our first glimpse at an alien species? Well, it turns out, no. This is actually an Earthling. Meet the southern flannel moth. It's a small furry moth known for its adorable yet deceptive appearance. As an adult, it has a fluffy golden or orange-yellow body with soft, dense hairs resembling a miniature Persian cat or a tiny fur coat. Its wings are covered in fine hairs, often with a mix of cream, gray, or brown shades. However, its caterpillar stage, commonly called the puss caterpillar, is far more infamous. Covered in dense, silky hair, the larvae looks like a walking toupee but hides venomous spines underneath that deliver an extremely painful sting, often compared to a wasp or even a hot knife. Found in the southeastern U.S., Mexico, and parts of Central America, these moths are fascinating but best admired from a safe distance.
What the fuck? Bro, what?
What are you?
I know we don't like to think about uncomfortable things, but have you ever wondered what would happen when you die? Heaven, hell, bright light, fiery furnace? Well, science believes they have answered the question, at least partly. They monitored the brain activity of an individual who had just passed on and noticed that the part of the brain responsible for memory was still active up to 8 minutes after the individual had passed on. The only interpretation for this is that the memories of the individual were playing back in their final moments. This had been seen in a prior experiment that was not considered official. To have the same result in an official study has had scientists baffled and talking. It's literally their lives flashing before their eyes. It may be similar to something like a dream world, and we all know how realistic that can be. Speaking of realism, how sure are we that we are not in our final moments on this earth reliving the life we have lived through memories? Just think about that. Imagine living alone and capturing this on your Ring door cam. Freaky or not? If you thought freaky, you and the owner of the clip share the same sentiment. She thinks, or at least believes, that what was captured outside her door was nothing more than a paranormal being roaming her streets. I mean, the situation is not held by that child or childlike being that appears to ring the bell and run away. She's convinced she was visited by a woman or witch in a black dress. She uploaded it hoping for validation, but the response has been rather mixed. There are some who agree with her assertion, and there are others who think she merely saw someone taking out the trash. It's hard which side is right because of the poor quality of the clip. If there's anything to take away from this, it's that the owner of the clip needs a better Ring door cam. Which side do you think is right, though? This footage sat on our shelf for a long time because I didn't know what interpretation to give it. And when I say shelf, I don't mean the literal kind, but I know you understand. We recently looked it up and discovered that many in the Japanese paranormal community think that it's a ningen. For those unfamiliar with the terminology, the ningen is a mysterious humanoid sea creature said to inhabit the icy waters of the Antarctic, with origins tied to Japanese internet folklore. Described as a massive pale white being, it supposedly resembles a giant human with a featureless face, elongated limbs, and sometimes mermaid-like characteristics, though accounts vary. Reports of the ningen first surfaced from alleged Japanese whaling crews who claimed to have seen these eerie creatures gliding through the ocean. While no concrete evidence exists, blurry photographs and conspiracy theories have fueled speculation that the Japanese government or scientific agencies may be hiding information. Some skeptics believe that the ningen is simply a misidentified whale, iceberg, or an optical illusion, and looking at the clip, I get why they think that. But do you really think there's more to this guy than meets the eye?
To show you, I confiscated my parents' tests. They glow. UV light. These look at this. Normal cotton wool bud. Oh, luciferase. Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering what's going on here, those are PCR swabs and they're used for carrying out tests like COVID-19. The individual filming, however, used UV lights on them because he didn't trust them, and it turns out he might be onto something. Not sure why, but the tips did glow under the UV light, which made him suspicious. It got him researching, and he discovered that the PCR swabs were sterilized with ethylene oxide, which is a gas routinely used to disinfect medical instruments. You might be wondering why that's a big deal, and I will tell you. Ethylene oxide, or ETO, is actually recognized as a carcinogen by agencies such as the EPA and the IARC, with long-term exposure linked to cancers like lymphoma and breast cancer. Yeah, the big C. Despite this danger, it's been stated that regulatory standards ensure that any ETO residues on the swabs remain within safe limits. Both the FDA and CDC affirm that when swabs are correctly sterilized, they pose minimal risks to users. The key word is minimal. Despite this assurance, cancer seems to have been having a field day in our time. I'm not implying anything, but what do you do with this information? That's up to you.
To show you, I confiscated my parents' tests. They glow. UV light. These look at this. Normal cotton wool bud. Oh, luciferase. Yeah.
Speaking of unusual information, take a look at this clip. It was allegedly captured in Brazil, and it features a giant casually strolling through the woods. The individual who recorded it stated it was the first time they'd seen it, and I want to believe him, but there's something about the clip that makes it hard to do. If a giant like this was roaming the area, surely someone else would have noticed, and surely the local media would have picked it up, unless of course they're in bed with the government to keep it quiet. While that's a possibility, there's also the likelihood of it being CGI or AI. In fact, all team members of mine think that's what's happening. Someone even asked me who makes his clothes, if this is real. I didn't have answers, but if you were a giant, surely you would have learned to cover up, or at least have a guy, don't you think? Do you like being watched when you're out in town? No? What about when you're in your home? Would you appreciate someone peeping into your home? If the answer is no, then you might find this clip on your screen a bit worrying. Ashley noticed that her neighbor had been watching her any time she left or entered her home. There was always the shadowy being staring in her direction from the window, and it made her uncomfortable. She's tried different things to deter them and has gone as far as showing her headlights directly at the neighbor's window, but he just stands there and stares. She shared the story, hoping to get insights on what she could do, and many who heard her plight told her that the neighbor might just be nosy, curious, or lonely. There was still a small sect who stated he might be dangerous. One even said she had gone through such an ordeal that the individual eventually broke in. If you were Ashley, what would you do? Speaking of bizarre and unexplainable things, what do you think of human poo? Phew, strange question, right? Even saying those words made me feel weird. The funny thing is, what I'm about to say is even weirder. When you think of a litter box, you think of cats, right? The bizarre thing is, there are some humans now who prefer to use the litter box. Yeah, you heard that right. We have human litter boxes now. Why, you ask? Well, I did ask the same question, and the answer I received was minimalism, water conservation, and the drive to feel like one with nature. I know it sounds unusual, but for these guys, it's a thing. Like everything in the 21st century, it was shared on social media, and many are getting into it. There are some who are actually putting it to good use, such as employing it as manure for their crops. While this might look like a new trend, it's actually not. In ancient China, there was a tradition called Ren Zhong Huan. For those hearing it for the first time, it's an ancient Chinese tradition that involves fermenting food or medicinal substances using human poop. Historically, this method was used in traditional Chinese medicine, where poop from healthy individuals was collected, fermented, and sometimes aged for years to create a substance believed to have healing properties for certain ailments. Sounds like a recipe for a disease outbreak, but it was widely popular. The practice is considered highly unsanitary and risky by modern standards due to the potential for harmful bacteria and pathogens, so it's no longer widely accepted or practiced in contemporary food or medicine. But if this trend continues, it won't be long until we see it back. Is this a medicinal method you would be open to try? Let's hear your thoughts on this one.
Man, societal norms are really going down the toilet, huh? Or, well, not, as the case may be.
Next, we've got this clip from an individual in a commercial airplane flying from Haneda to Hakodate. If you've been on a plane, you know that these moments over the clouds are some of the most beautiful and serene moments one could ever experience. For the individual on this plane, however, that will be interrupted by the humanoid thing or creature or being, whatever that is, you see on your screen. Seeing that naturally made her blood run cold. She felt they might crash, but although they didn't, she wondered what it was. Confused, she recorded it and uploaded it online seeking answers. Naturally, there were some who were intrigued and a few others who were skeptical. For the skeptical ones, this has to be doctored footage or AI. I was about to join their bandwagon until I saw this comment under the original post. And this got me thinking, what if there's something like this out there? Would that explain the strange things happening in our skies? Hard to say, but keep an open mind and share your thoughts.
I watched this thing move across in my rearview mirror when I was driving back of my car to the front. I could see it from outside and in the mirror. I got out of my car, like staring at me, but if I looked away, I couldn't find it until it was closer. I have never felt fear like this. The hair on my arms was standing up.
You hurt her, didn't you? She had just arrived home and was supposed to get into the house when she noticed something coming from within the bush. Confused, terrified, and afraid, she waited to make out what it was. In the beginning, it wasn't very clear until she came face to face with it, a ghostly shadow with no discernible form following her. She quickly got into the vehicle and called her stepdad to come around. Even while waiting, she could see the shadow being in the side view mirror. Once her stepdad arrived, however, the being seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Naturally, this upset her. Well, I mean, it would upset anyone. The big question, however, is, what was that thing? Why did it wait and hang around her till her stepdad arrived? Why did it leave when he did? These are all valid questions to ask, but the unfortunate thing is we may never get the kind of answers we so desire. Have you ever had such an experience, and how did you escape it? And did you know who or what the shadow tailing you was?
I watched this thing move across in my rearview mirror when I was driving back of my car to the front. I could see it from outside and in the mirror. I got out of my car, like staring at me, but if I looked away, I couldn't find it until it was closer. I have never felt fear like this. The hair on my arms was standing up.
Padre cielo que estás en lo nuestro. Ay, Santa María, Madre Purísima.
Moving on to more ghost clips, take a look at this one. We're not sure where this was recorded or when, but when you pay attention to the clip, you should see that there's someone or something in the back seat of the car. Whatever that thing is, it's noticed that the one filming has seen it and is filming. Also, it doesn't look pleased at all, but the video doesn't continue any further. Given that the clip was uploaded to the internet, we can assume that the driver is fine. What would you have done? Would you have stopped the car and told the driver there was a paranormal being in the vehicle and risked getting involved, or gone your way? We don't know which option the driver chose, but man, if this is genuine, it would have been one wild experience. If you're wondering what you're looking at, it's a Bigfoot, at least according to the individual who recorded this. Do not be fooled by the small size of the creature in relation to its environment. This was allegedly recorded from a great distance by an individual who thought he'd seen something move unusually in the snow. Confused and a bit perplexed, he started recording the whole thing, wondering what was going on. That's when it hit him. He might actually be filming a Bigfoot. The creature was abnormally large, and it moved through the snow with ease, in a way that a human was just not capable of doing. This left him convinced he had just caught wind of the big guy as he was recording. Naturally, when this was uploaded, some were skeptical, but many felt he'd captured the real deal. In fact, one individual mentioned the video was a great one and added that an aerial view would have been phenomenal, as it would have revealed the creature's tracks. Where's a drone when you need one? I've always wondered if mermaids were camera shy, but if this next clip is to be believed, they're not. This was recorded by a group of sailors out at sea. One of them noticed that there was a creature in the water that looked human, yet looked like a fish. That's where the mermaid thought clicked in. The creature then got closer and began swimming and giving them a show. You can hear the excitement in the voices of the sailors, which left many saying the clip has to be authentic. Playing the devil's advocate, however, Julius asked us what if the voiceover of men talking and laughing was simply placed on a doctored clip. When he said that, I had wanted to tell him my mind, which is slang for giving it to him. However, upon sober reflection, I realized he could be right. Either way, you guys have watched the clip, so what do you also think? What do you think this is? Before you scream alien or something, take a good look. They look like turtles fused together at birth. We've dealt with issues of Siamese twins, but never did I ever think we'd have a turtle situation on our hands that would deal with such issues. Many were quick to call the creature alien and all, but we may simply have to look to the Earth for this one. I feel they are conjoined twins, but I could be wrong. If there's an expert out there who can help us on this one, please do. Thank you in advance. Next, we've got this clip from a lady called Miranda, whose time at work was interrupted by something strange. While cleaning, she felt like there was a presence in there with her. She thought she was imagining things until she caught a glimpse of a pale face looking at her from one side of the room. Although shaken, she tried to snap out of it because ghosts weren't real, right? Well, the ghost or whatever it is didn't find that funny because it tried to make its presence known by communicating with her.
I just heard.
It said, hello, while she was filming, and that was the last straw. She got out of the place and never returned. Fortunately, she was already recording when this happened. She shared her story and a number of individuals believed her, yet not everyone. You've seen the clip yourself, so what do you think was going on with her?
I just heard.
It's a cloud with lights in it. Moving weird. I've never seen no shit like that.
Speaking of unusual things, we've got this clip from a man in Philly who noticed an unusual cloud in the sky moving in a rather unusual and more intelligent way. He then began filming to record the whole thing to make sure he wasn't imagining, and sure enough, the footage proved that he wasn't. The cloud even had sparkling lights in it, and when the community caught wind of that, they had only one explanation: a UFO cloaked in the cloud. After everything we've seen and discussed here, that's not too surprising, is it?
Never seen no like this in my life.
Speaking of strange, someone shared this clip with me, asking me what unholy creature had attacked and spooked the man. I've watched this clip several times trying to make it out, but try as I might, I didn't really see whatever the creature was. For this reason, I brought it here. Can you guys help out? I'll be reading your comments. Do demons visit hospitals? And before you answer, take a good look at this. If you're confused and wondering what you're looking at, this grainy CCTV snapshot is from a hospital and it captures a shadowy figure hovering over a patient's bed. That's not normal now, is it? Well, there are some who believe it's a demon, and looking at the clip, I can understand why they think that. Strangely enough, the patient in question passed away not long after the image was taken. It makes you wonder, did the patient see it? Was it really responsible for the death of the patient? So many questions, but doubt I would be getting any answers. This clip comes from a man who had parked his car outside late one night when he suddenly heard the car alarm go off. Thinking that maybe someone was trying to break in, he grabbed his phone and went to check it out. As he filmed, he circled the car, expecting to find a thief or an animal that might have triggered the alarm. But there was no one there. The area was empty. Everything seemed fine until he reached the side of the car, and that's when it appeared. Through the rear window, a pale face with glowing eyes stared back at him. The windows were completely rolled up, yet he could see it clearly inside the car. But here's the creepiest part. When he opened the door to check, there was nothing there. The man was terrified. Could this be the entity that set off the car alarm? And if so, why was it inside the car in the first place?
¡Hey! Ya, vente, vente. Tranquilo, agarra el bote, agárralo, tranquilo, agárralo. Agárralo, agárralo, no te subas, agárralo.
Do you know the biblical story of Jonah, the man who was swallowed by a great fish and later spat out? Well, here's a modern version of that story, and it was all caught on camera. This video was filmed by a father in Chile during a kayaking trip with his son. The man was recording as his son paddled toward him when suddenly from beneath the water a massive humpback whale emerged, its mouth wide open, right under the young man's kayak. In what seemed like a split second, the young man disappeared into the whale's mouth, only for the giant creature to spit him back out moments later. Luckily, the boy swam to his kayak and made it safely back to his father. Now, what are the odds of this happening? Could this be one of those once-in-a-lifetime encounters with nature, or did this boy just live out a real-life Jonah experience? Also, I can imagine how helpless they both felt, especially the dad while watching his son get gobbled up by a fish that large.
¡Hey! Ya, vente, vente. Tranquilo, agarra el bote, agárralo, tranquilo, agárralo. Agárralo, agárralo, no te subas, agárralo.
Man, I bet that guy had a whale of a time.
And I just start out like this right here. And they'll cross right there. And that's where your underground stream's at. Walk over here. And here the belt can go down. I can feel when they're fixing to uncross, they start kind of, I don't really know how to say that. They're fixing to uncross.
Look at that.
Back in the day, there was something known as water witching, and no, it's not about a green woman with a broomstick and a pointy hat. It was an ancient method of finding water using what's called dowsing rods. The idea is simple. When someone walks over an area holding these rods, if the rods cross, it means there's water underground. Now here's where it gets interesting. This method has never been scientifically proven, yet many claim it works remarkably well and has been used for centuries. Some believe it's supernatural, while others think it has to do with the energy frequencies or subconscious muscle movements. What do you also think? Real or just a trick of the mind?
Look at that. It's nuts.
Did they use some of this stuff for the supernatural stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of mojo-y.
I don't know how this works. I don't know why it does or why it doesn't.
But this is an old cowboy way.
No, I'm not saying it's cowboy, it's an old-timer way.
I've been thinking something sketchy's been going on in my apartment complex for some while now because they say the building's full, but I never see anyone here. And now let's talk about Chinese menus. I watched the guy put these up. He did it on Friday. It's now Sunday. Are you really telling me people live here, but no one on my floor has come in or out of their building in 3 days? Like, what is going on here? Like seriously, I'm being lied to. There's something's going on here.
A man shared a strange and eerie experience he had in his apartment building, which houses around 800 residents, or at least that's what he thought. One day, he walked out of his apartment and noticed Chinese restaurant menus wedged between his neighbor's doors. At first, it didn't seem too odd, but as the days passed, no one removed them. In fact, he hadn't seen or heard a single other person in the entire building. Curious and unsettled, he decided to investigate. He went down to the parking garage, expecting to find signs of life, but what he saw only made things weirder. The lot was filled with cars, but they were all coated in thick dust as if no one had driven them for months. Feeling even more uneasy, he tried pulling the fire alarm, hoping this would force people to come out of their apartments. But when the alarm blared through the building, nothing happened. No one came out. So he left the building and walked through the city, hoping to see some normal activity. But again, the streets were eerily empty. The only people he did see were shopkeepers standing behind counters, but something about them felt off, especially one woman in a suit always on the phone who seemed to be in the store every time he passed it. At this point, the man became convinced that he was stuck in some kind of simulation. However, someone in the comments suggested a more logical explanation. Many buildings in big cities are bought by foreign investors, but no one actually lives in them. These apartments and luxury cars are just investments sitting empty for years. What do you think? Was this just a case of foreign-owned ghost apartments, or was this man actually trapped in a simulation?
Are you really telling me people live here, but no one on my floor has come in or out of their building in 3 days? Like, what is going on here? Like seriously, I'm being lied to. There's something's going on here.
Someone found this odd black slime, but what's truly strange is that it seemed alive. The slime was moving on its own in a plate, almost as if it had a mind of its own. Even weirder, when a hand holding a metal ring moved above it, the slime followed it closely, as if it was being attracted to it. So what could this be? Could it be some strange life form, a type of magnetic fluid, or something even more bizarre? Someone captured footage of a strange, unidentified flying object in the sky. At first glance, it might seem too good to be true, but before we jump to conclusions about whether it's fake or edited, let's take a closer look. As the footage is enhanced, you'll notice that this object appears to be solid, reflective, and metallic, floating in the sky without any visible wings or propellers. It doesn't resemble a typical aircraft or drone, which makes this sighting even more intriguing. Some speculate that it could be a classified military aircraft or an advanced drone, but so far, no official explanation has been given. What do you think? Are we looking at a piece of advanced human technology, or could this be something not of this world? Speaking of UFOs, these strange lights were spotted in the night sky. They're bright orbs glowing behind the clouds, moving in a mysterious and organized formation. They might seem like distant stars, but watch closely. As they move forward, the ones in the back vanish while new ones appear in the front. It's almost as if they're shifting positions with purpose, creating an eerie synchronized pattern. Now, these types of orbs have been documented all over the world for years and are often linked to UFOs and extraterrestrial activity. Skeptics argue that they could be military drones or experimental technology, while others believe they could be atmospheric plasma discharges or reflections from the ground. But no official explanation has ever been provided for these sightings. So, could these just be lights in the sky, or is there something much bigger happening above us? A man was spending a day at the beach when he noticed something unusual moving across the water. It looked like waves, but as he watched, he realized it was a long, wiggling creature slithering across the ocean's surface. This thing is massive as it moves toward a nearby island. This thing is not gliding smoothly like a sea serpent, but rather squirming like a worm. That unusual movement has sparked curiosity and debate among those who've seen the footage. For centuries, people have reported sightings of mysterious sea creatures, from sea serpents to giant unknown animals lurking beneath the waves. While many of these stories have been debunked as hoaxes or misidentified marine life, the possibility of undiscovered deep-sea creatures is still possible. After all, we've only explored a fraction of our oceans. Who's to say what else is out there? That being said, this particular footage appears to be edited. Some inconsistencies in the way the creature interacts with the water suggest it was digitally altered. So while the idea of a colossal worm-like sea creature is exciting, it's safe to say this one isn't real. At least that's what I think. But what do you think? A group of men were exploring the desert when they came across this rock that didn't quite seem like a rock. At first glance, it looked like just another boulder blending in with the endless stretch of sand. But when one of them knocked on it, it sounded like a hollow metallic sound. Rocks aren't supposed to sound like that, so what could this be? Some believe it could be an old UFO, one that crashed and got buried under years of dust and sand, now disguised as just another rock. Others suggest it might be ancient technology, something built by a lost civilization and slowly buried over time. A few skeptics think it's just a piece of industrial waste, maybe a remnant of a forgotten project or something left behind by the military. But what if it's something even stranger? If you really think about it, who knows what's buried under all that sand? The desert is one of the most mysterious and uncharted places on Earth. Could there be undiscovered artifacts, lost knowledge, or even evidence of extraterrestrial activity hiding just beneath the surface? Man went out in the snow with his dog just to enjoy the winter. Suddenly, a wild moose appears. Now, most people would think, oh, well, it's just a moose. They're chill, right? Well, not this one. The moose decides to go full-on sprint mode toward the guy. Probably upset about something. Luckily, he moved out of the way. From what we can tell, this moose is not a morning person. The dog, on the other hand, seems to have a lot of energy because it starts to bark at the huge moose in an attempt to save its owner. Luckily, the moose did not attack any further, and the man called his dog and both retreated to the comfort of their home. Stepping away from AI potentially becoming sentient, we have another footage that shows us something else that's become rather sentient. Something that would have been the least on our list. Take a look. Yes, that's an umbrella taking a walk in the street. If you asked me which would happen first, robot dictators or walking umbrellas, I would have thought you were joking. I mean, robots taking over the world seems more plausible than umbrellas going for a walk. Alas, here we are, watching an umbrella take a walk. What do you think of it? Real, hoax, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts.
A hidden secret of Port Phillip Bay has been revealed during an extraordinary underwater encounter off Mornington.
Animals are fascinating creatures that never cease to amaze us with their intelligence and behavior. They have a unique way of communicating and interacting with us, and we're still trying to understand their world. Take a look at this encounter. A diver had a unique encounter with an octopus while deep in the sea. The octopus approached her and latched on her hand, motioning her to follow it. The diver followed the creature, and according to her, the octopus would swim ahead of her and turn to make sure she was following. The curious and friendly octopus led the diver to what looked like a grave on the seabed. On the grave, there was a picture of a man and his dog, almost as if the octopus was trying to convey a message to her. Naturally, the encounter was a fascinating experience for the diver, who was left in awe of the octopus's intelligence and behavior. Remarkable, don't you think? Next, we've got another fascinating video that shows a line of shrimps seemingly striking a yoga pose, which left me baffled. How do you even teach shrimps this? I started thinking this has to be the work of some sort of animal or shrimp whisperer. I did some digging around, however, and I discovered that the footage was a cleverly planned reverse video. It's embarrassing, I know, but you can't really blame me, can you? We see weird things all the time, and you have to admit it's amazing how such simple editing can create such an intriguing illusion. Imagine being on a railway track and having a creature show up on it and refuse to move. This is what happened to these Russians who were simply going about their daily activities. We're not sure why the moose got on the track or why it's even refusing to move despite the loud horns, but you can't deny the fact that it's cute. If you were the one in charge of the train, what would you have done? Would you have been as patient as the ones in this footage, or would you have done something else? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. This footage has been all over social media, and no one seems to have a good explanation. In the footage, we can see what looks like a woman in a bikini on all fours, running and jumping effortlessly like an animal. No one knows who she is or why she's doing that. Without additional information, it's challenging to pinpoint the exact motivation behind the behavior captured in the footage. However, the allure of the mysterious often fuels speculation. Some see possession, while others see mental instability. What are your thoughts? This next one has gone viral in recent times. It features a very peculiar object that was spotted in the night sky. The object in question is triangular and has 3 round lights, one at each point. No one who's seen this clip can state with certainty what it is. Many speculations are flying around though. Interestingly, a majority of commenters speculated that the object could be a TR-3B. For those unfamiliar with it, TR-3B is a highly secretive aircraft often mentioned in conspiracy theories and UFO lore. According to these theories, the TR-3B is a triangular-shaped craft that's equipped with advanced propulsion and stealth capabilities and is supposedly developed by the United States government's black budget programs. However, there's no concrete evidence to support the existence of the TR-3B. What are your thoughts on this mysterious object in the sky? Do you believe that the TR-3B could be a real top-secret aircraft, or is it just another urban legend? Right when you think you have seen it all. A group of individuals stumbled upon a strange and unsettling creature while exploring a secluded area. The creature was lying on the ground, motionless, with its face and flesh resembling that of a pig. However, upon closer inspection, it became apparent that its lower half was shaped like that of a fish. The creature's mouth was agape, with its tongue sticking out and its sharp teeth on full display. What made this discovery even more disturbing was the fact that the creature bore the unmistakable stamp of a meat factory. Scientists and food factories may be experimenting with and creating meat from these mutated creatures for human consumption. The thought of such a practice is truly horrifying. What do you think about this discovery? Do you believe that we should be more cautious about the food that we consume? We have a couple watching their newborn child on a baby monitor when they notice something strange. There on the side of the baby cot is a pair of glowing eyes looking at the baby. It stands there for a while and then goes away. We don't have much info on the footage, so we can console ourselves with the idea that that could be a dog. There is an eerie feeling, though, that makes me think it was not a dog, but some sort of evil entity that was after the child. What do you think? While out in the mountains in Turkey, a group of men came across a creature on a hill staring down at them. From the footage, we can tell that the creature had a pair of horns and eyes glowing in the dark. Its head resembled that of a goat, while its body looked almost like a human crouching down. Could this be the legendary Goat Man? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Next up, we've got today's bonus segment. This footage comes to us from the rugged landscapes of Spain. While exploring a dense forest, a hiker unexpectedly encountered a loud and eerie growl emanating from the depths of the woods. The origin of this unsettling sound remains a mystery, and the hiker was left both puzzled and unnerved. Today, our task is simple. Can you identify the roar or grunt at the end of the video? Before you say no, remember, the best answer to this question gets the opportunity to be featured in our next episode. If you believe you've got the answer, simply let us know who or what is responsible by typing its name in the comments section. Begin the answer with bonus and we'll be sure to find it. May the best man or woman or alien and possibly cryptid win. The number of questionable things people encounter when it comes to food is very alarming. Take a look at this.
Since when do watermelons feel like that?
A woman went to buy a watermelon in the supermarket and to her surprise discovered something shocking. The deep green color of the fruit came off like a sticker. Have you ever seen a watermelon do that? The color just peeled away, revealing an unnatural appearance beneath. This doesn't look right and certainly doesn't resemble a mature, natural fruit. It looks like something that was made in a factory, not grown on a farm. What could be the reason behind this? Is it a fake watermelon made with artificial materials, or could there be another explanation, such as a protective coating applied during transport that inadvertently came off? If you work in this industry, please enlighten us in the comments section.
Since when do watermelons peel? Since when do watermelons peel like that?
Talk about a head scratcher. So this dude walks into his place, right? Normal day until he spots his ring just hanging out in midair. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that's some weird magic show happening right there. But you have to wonder, is it a glitch in the Matrix, some supernatural shenanigans, or did the laws of physics just decide to take a coffee break? I mean, coming home and finding your ring playing the levitation game is definitely not your everyday sight. What's your take on it though? Matrix glitch, a new age Houdini trick, or maybe just a gravity-defying jewelry piece? Share your thoughts with us. Entering a cave and stumbling upon a pride of lions is not an everyday occurrence. It sounds like a scene straight out of a wildlife documentary. The image of these majestic creatures huddled up in a small cave opening is quite surreal. It certainly is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence, and the one filming is very fortunate that the lions didn't see him as a threat. Even if they did, they chose to simply threaten him without attacking. Perhaps they were taking a nap after a substantial meal, or maybe they were simply not in the mood. Perhaps they also didn't want to move out of their comfort zone, as it looked like the cave offered a cool and sheltered spot for a rest. A man visited the Kachina Woman Rock in Arizona and made a truly eerie discovery.
This whole thing had kind of been confusing at parts. A minute ago, I started taking a video of a rock that was chipping, and it shouldn't chip like that. And then Shakira was over here, and she's beating on this stuff, and we realized that this chip's like a plaster, and it's like a hollow sound compared to the...
As he knocked on the rock, he noticed it produced a hollow sound. Now, this is particularly strange because the rock is made of sandstone, which doesn't usually make such sounds. The hollow sound means there is some sort of space inside this massive rock. While some people are convinced that this is just a natural occurrence and nothing unusual, some in the paranormal community believe there's more to the story. They think there might be something else down there occupying all that space. Perhaps it's a passage to Hollow Earth, an underground secret facility, or something even more mysterious. I did some research though and discovered sandstone can have a hollow sound under certain conditions. This typically happens when there are internal voids or cavities formed during its geological formation, through processes like gas bubble entrapment or mineral dissolution. Sandstone's porous nature, with interconnected pores between grains, can also contribute to a hollow sound when tapped. Additionally, surface weathering, biological activity, or human activity such as quarrying or construction can create cavities or thin shells over large voids within the stone. In other words, his explanation was wrong. What do you think?
Beating on this stuff, and we realized that this chip's like a plaster, and it's like a hollow sound compared to the real rock. Look, there's a perfect scene.
Have you ever seen a plant do this? By that, I mean light a match. In the video, you see a hand placing a cup of water under the hanging fruit. Then a match is held above it, and surprisingly, the match lights up. To demonstrate further, the hand plucks the fruit into the cup of water, and when a match is held over the water again, it lights up once more. When I saw this, my mind was blown, but Julius, being our in-house scientist, was not convinced. He spent about 15 minutes analyzing the clip and came out with a working hypothesis. The clip is fake. Well, not 100%. Everything you're seeing is happening as you're seeing it. The thing, however, is this: the clip is in reverse. Take a critical look at the clip again and you will realize this. Whoever came up with this idea was brilliant, but imagine that there was actually a plant that had this superpower. Would you consider it a natural wonder or a danger and threat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What would you do if you discovered a monster hiding in your roof? Sounds like a hypothetical question, right? Well, for the one who uploaded our first footage, it was not. Yes, that's the hand of a monster of sorts showing above the door. How it got there, no one knows, but clearly everyone present is scared and worried. The uploader suspects it's a potential Bigfoot, and looking at those furry hands, I don't blame her for thinking so. There are others, however, who think that it's nothing more than a monkey which found its way into their house while they were away. While the monkey explanation sounds more plausible and likely, it's not any less frightening than the Bigfoot. The uploader shared this video while it was happening live. We don't know what they discovered when they broke into the house. Which do you think it is? Bigfoot, monkey, or even a hoax? Share your thoughts in the comment section. In the next footage, we see a group of men sitting in a hospital hallway, probably to visit a loved one. They all seemed occupied with their phones when all of a sudden, a scrubbed-in doctor came running from the other side of the hallway. No one paid attention to him, but a few moments later, a wheelchair wheeled itself into the place from the direction the doctor came from. Yes, it wheeled itself. There was nobody in the chair, and neither was there someone pushing it. The man seeing this scrambled out of the place. How did the chair move? What was controlling it? How did this story end? Those are questions we may never receive answers to. Have you ever come across someone whose eyes appear to have water and sand in the retina? No? Watch this. It looks like the individual's eyes contain a whole new world, doesn't it? A part of me wanted to think this was probably fake. My team and I did a little combing through the internet and discovered this could be due to a rare eye condition called haliosis asteroids. It's a condition characterized by the presence of small, white or yellowish star-shaped formations in the vitreous humor, which is a gel-like substance that fills the back of the eye between the lens and the retina. These formations are known as asteroid bodies and can give the impression of water and sand in the retina, leading to a striking visual effect. Haliosis asteroids is a relatively uncommon condition that usually develops in people over 50 years of age. I know what you're thinking. Does it mean that they're blind? Well, the answer is no. In fact, most people with this condition are unaware of it unless they undergo a routine eye exam or have a close examination of their eyes. Take a look at this response from posts discussing the same condition. The exact cause of haliosis asteroids is unknown, but it's believed to be related to the aging process and the accumulation of certain proteins in the vitreous humor. While there's no specific treatment for haliosis asteroids, it's not a cause for concern as it does not affect vision or require any medical attention. What do you guys think of the condition, though? Now, this is like a death trap. Did I say like? This elevator door just came off while the elevator was moving. You can see that there is movement behind the doors, but it does seem like that is the elevator room. It's not often that you see this happen with an elevated door, and if this can happen, then anyone who uses the elevator certainly isn't safe. We don't have much context to the footage, but we can only hope that there were no casualties. If this clip did anything, it reaffirmed my phobia of elevators. Our next footage is one of the reasons why people believe that we are indeed in a matrix. A lighter was put on a table by a wall. The fire was lit, but when you looked at the wall, there was something strange going on. The shadow of the lighter was showing on the wall, but the fire was not. There could be a few explanations for such an occurrence. One possibility is that the lighting conditions and the camera angle created a situation where the shadow was more prominent than the flame itself. Shadows can sometimes be more defined depending on the light source and the angle. What are your thoughts? Have you seen a ladder take a walk? Well, if you haven't, today's your lucky day. Take a look. Yup, that's a ladder walking away. At some point, my assistant thought it was just the wind, but the wind won't move it in the way it did unless there was some invisible person working it out. We slowed the footage to try and see if there was any strings attached to any of the legs, but we couldn't find any convincing patterns that would establish it. We were left to accept that the ladder is indeed walking. How is it doing that? We wish we knew. Perhaps some things are best left a mystery.
Alright, so I don't know what's going on. We're back in Greece, by the way, all right?
What
but
the fuck is this?
like, what is going on? I never saw this since I'm here.
Greece, land of the gods and stunning sunsets. But this footage, it's like stepping into an alternate reality where everything's been doused in a fiery orange hue. At first glance, you might think someone's gone a little overboard with the Instagram filters, but hold up. The person behind the camera insists that this is the real deal, with no filter in sight. So what in the name of Zeus could be causing this surreal scene? Some speculate that it could be a sandstorm, a natural occurrence known to envelop landscapes in a swirling cloud of dust and sand particles. The orange tint could be the result of sunlight filtering through the dusty atmosphere, painting everything in its path with a warm amber glow. But there's always room for speculation in the comments section. What do you think it is? Nature is an enigmatic force which can be both awe-inspiring and intimidating. One such instance of this duality can be seen in the footage where large rocks slide from the side of the road over the railings and then onto the road. The sheer size of the rocks and the speed at which they move are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Despite several bystanders filming the incident, there seemed to be no way to stop or mitigate the damage caused by the rock. It's in moments like these that we're reminded of nature's raw power and the fact that we're just mere mortals in its path. In another instance, we see the asphalt on the road assume an unusual shape, almost as if it were boiling. This piques the curiosity of a passerby, and upon closer inspection, a man pries open one of these pockets to reveal a massive stone. So underneath all these pockets are stones? What phenomena is this? Let us know if you have any idea of what this could be in the comments section below. While we are trying to figure out the strange creatures and phenomena that plague our world, there are also those who choose to do strange things that leave us all shocked and questioning them. This footage was taken on a train. In the footage, we see a person in a costume and heavy makeup eating spaghetti on the floor. I mean, this is a train, and I don't even want to get started on how unsanitary that is. But what is wrong with this person? Could it be that he needs help psychologically, or is he just doing this for attention? Any New Yorker with an answer? You wake up one serene morning, the world outside blanketed in fresh snow after a night of gentle flurries. As you groggily approach the window to take in the wintry scene, you're met with an unexpected sight. A majestic moose, tall and proud, right outside your window. Its breath forms little clouds in the chilly air as it curiously peers into your room, almost as if it's offering a friendly good morning. The moose, with its massive antlers and a coat of snowflakes, seems to embody the peaceful charm of the winter landscape. Someone shared this intriguing footage taken during a walk through the woods. High up in the tree, amidst the leaves and branches, is the outline of something. It appears to be moving, but whatever it is seems almost invisible, blending perfectly with the foliage. So what could this mysterious entity be? Is it some type of invisible cryptid lurking in the trees, stalking the hiker, or could it be a person using a cloaking dress or advanced cloaking technology to camouflage themselves? The idea of an invisible cryptid is fascinating and aligns with numerous folklore and urban legends about creatures that can blend into their surroundings. On the other hand, cloaking technology, though mostly a concept of science fiction, is increasingly becoming a topic of real scientific explanation. Take a look at the footage and share your thoughts. Are we witnessing a cryptid with extraordinary camouflage abilities, or is this an example of advanced human technology at work? On the border of Minnesota and Ontario, Canada, a man was on a snowmobile ride with his brother and their guide when they came across something extraordinary.
Feet.
Not even close.
Up and over. Up and over. Up and over.
There's what it takes a human to get through.
Up and over, up and over, up and over. In line, perfectly in line, every step.
They discovered huge tracks in the snow that they reported had stretched for 3 miles. These tracks were unlike any human or animal tracks. They were deep, huge, and bipedal. The tracks appeared to have been made sideways, and you could clearly see the print of the toes in the snow. They were impressively large.
I don't know why. All the steps in line. Look at it. Who would... Boom. Boom, right in front.
This footage was taken back in 2012, and the brothers believe these tracks were made by none other than the elusive Bigfoot. The sheer size and unusual formation of the tracks have led many to speculate about their origin. Could these tracks be the definitive proof of Bigfoot's existence, or is there another explanation, such as a rare natural phenomenon or an elaborate prank? Share your thoughts.
Across the branch. To balance. Oh, look at this. Big toe. Here we go. I can't even move through this. Something's going sideways across the branch. This way.
What creatures do you think we are looking at here? This footage surfaced back in 2018 from a farm in Indiana, and it shows what I can only describe as a hideous-looking creature. The body of the creature looks like that of a goat, but its long neck and strange face say otherwise. When this footage surfaced on the internet, people were quick to give their opinions about it, and given its appearance, most comments were pretty harsh. Some said the creature was the ugliest animal in the world. Others said it looked like the devil himself, while others called it the monster goat. But after a little research, we found out that this is not a monster goat or the devil himself. It's called a Damascus goat. They're a rare breed of goat with rather distinct features. This one, however, looks this way according to some because of selective breeding. Can the experts confirm or debunk this? If you didn't think Bigfoot or the Sasquatch was real, perhaps this next footage might change your mind. Enjoy. Once the footage starts, we're introduced to a crime scene. In a second or two, we see something dark, furry, and tall move in the background. Enter our Bigfoot. At this point, any skeptic might think that it's nothing more than a man in a costume. If you're one of those, you're forgiven. The creature moving in the background then easily picks up a tree and then hits the ground or another tree with it. Not particularly sure what it's doing, but you have to admit that it takes some strength and power to pull that off, and no man can do that. If you're a skeptic, what do you have to say for yourself after seeing this clip? The amount of alien footage on the internet would shock you, with sightings and encounters coming in various shapes, sizes, and colors. Take a look at this particular footage, for instance. The video shows an alien-like creature lying on a bed, only its gray head and shoulders are visible. The creature's large eyes shut and its mouth slightly open, looking lifeless. Human hands are poking at it, but it doesn't budge. The eerie stillness and the almost lifelike appearance of the creature add to the mystery and intrigue. Some commenters suggest that it's a movie prop, noting the detailed craftsmanship that makes it look so realistic. Others think it might be a doll, perhaps created for a hoax or as part of an elaborate prank. The lifelessness and the way it's being handled make it hard to tell if it's something genuinely otherworldly or just a clever piece of art. With the advancement in technology, creating realistic-looking props and effects has become easier, making it even harder to distinguish between real and fake. So what do you think? Is this a genuine lifeless alien, a carefully crafted movie prop, or a cleverly designed doll? Moving from the dry and rocky areas, we move on to something rather wet and aquatic. Take a look. In this footage, a man was at the coast when fishermen were offloading their catch when he spotted something strange. A group of men on a boat carried out a huge creature. At first, he thought it was just a large fish, but then they placed the creature on a stretcher, giving him a clear view. Yes, the creature was a fish. At least it had a fish tail, but the upper part was unlike anything he'd ever seen. It looked like an alien, like humanoid. Its head was very large and its skin was extremely pale, almost white. The creature had its eyes closed and lay there lifeless as the men surrounded it, examining it closely. When it comes to mermaid sightings, the internet is mostly divided. Some videos and photos appear very cartoonish, resembling costumes or edited footage, while others look incredibly real and lifelike. So looking at this footage, what do you think? Are we dealing with the real deal, or is this just another elaborate hoax?
Still on Bigfoot, we travel all the way to snowy Russia for our next footage. Take a look. Now, you may not understand what's happening, but the recorder of the footage decided to embark on a journey into the snowy night to prove to everyone that the Bigfoot that they had apparently been seeing was nothing more than a hoax. Once out there, however, he started to notice these strange prints in the snow. Although skeptical, he started to record just in case there was a Bigfoot, and that's exactly what he found. Some 2 kilometers from him, he saw a creature moving. Zooming in, he recorded what you see on your screen, but of course it's blurry due to how zoomed in the footage is. He truly believes he encountered a Bigfoot. Some have called the whole thing a hoax, stating that they couldn't understand how the first footage was as clear as day and the last one was as blurry as the dark night. Quite frankly, I know zooming in could do that to footage, but perhaps that's a convenient way to explain a hoax. What do you think? Did this Russian really encounter a Bigfoot, or is he playing mind games? Now that's a wild wake-up call. Imagine unzipping your tent all ready to face the day, and boom. There's a deer right there giving you the morning stare down. This camper had the experience and didn't have to imagine it. Lucky guy. It's almost like Mr. Deer there is his campsite guardian waiting for him to join the great outdoors. What do you think of it? Spooky or cute?
Next, we got a rather peculiar clip that I came across recently.
This is the original elf on the shelf, brought back from Ireland nearly 100 years ago.
The person in the clip believes that what he has in his possession is a leprechaun. It was apparently brought from Ireland a century ago. Do you remember the popular holiday tradition of elf on the shelf? During the Christmas season, a popular tradition involves placing a small elf doll, often referred to as the elf on the shelf, in different locations around the house each day. The premise is that the elf is sent by Santa Claus to watch over children and report back to him each night on their behavior. This person has something similar, a mummified elf-like creature that they display every Christmas. The creature is quite unsettling with its dried skin and teeth. The man who brought it home claims that strange things happen whenever the creature is displayed, from flickering lights to strange noises. It feels as if someone is always watching you. The overall experience, according to him, is quite eerie and unsettling. Now let me ask this question. Is it worth having such a thing in your home? Here we have another reported Bigfoot sighting. It was allegedly taken with an infrared trail camera. The picture shows a bipedal cryptid walking with an estimated height of at least 7 feet and with noticeably thick muscles in the chest area.
The capture is unusually white, which might be due to the technology used to capture the image. Naturally, the comment section of the original post was a battlefield between skeptics and believers. One commenter argues that it is cropped CGI image. Another unbeliever says that the whole thing is a hoax because someone else also claims to have the very same image. Frankly, it's hard to say which side is right, but myself and my team leans ever so slightly on the possibility of it being a hoax. What do you think? Our next footage was taken by some hikers in British Columbia as far back as 2013. Take a look. They were on a mountain when they noticed a dark furred humanoid walking below from a distance. They believed they had seen Bigfoot. Looking at the footage, it has to be. But then again, there's only so much we can see. Skeptics who saw the footage believed it couldn't be declared as a Bigfoot, which comes as no surprise to us. After all, skeptics often attribute such sightings to misidentifications, shadows, or other natural phenomena. In many cases, what people believe to be Bigfoot turns out to be a bear, a person, or some other explainable phenomena. So the question remains, was this a genuine Bigfoot sighting, or could there be a more rational explanation for the figure the hikers saw? On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now before I send that creature after you. On a more serious note, it really helps out a ton and gives us the opportunity to keep making these videos for you, so please do so and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much. This person was driving on the road in the middle of the night when he came across this in the sky. You see it, don't you? A strange person floating in the sky. Is it human, though? I mean, it's hard to tell since whatever it is has a robe on. I have my theories on what this might be, but looking at it, what do you see? Tell us in the comments section. Next, we have another alleged Bigfoot encounter that was shared on Reddit by a hiker in Vancouver Island. Let's take a look. She was on a route when, according to her, she spotted this creature ahead in the trees. The creature had its head poked out from some bushes, but the rest of its body was hidden. It had this grotesque look, very different from the usual description of the Bigfoot we know. According to her, she was so terrified she managed to get just this image. Just look at the face. Do you think this is indeed a Bigfoot we're looking at, or yet another cryptid altogether? If you thought that was odd looking, then I wonder what you'd make of this one. Someone found this strange looking sandy ground. There was a round patch of sand on the ground that looked like it was boiling. The person filming put bricks into it and it went right in. What could this be? Now, I'm not saying there's a sand-dwelling creature with a penchant for building materials, but hey, stranger things have happened. It's like we've stumbled upon the lair of some ancient desert guardian ready to gobble up anything that dares to disturb its sandy slumber. As much as I love my monsters, I don't think that's what's happening here. Does any one of you know what we're dealing with here? Kindly share in the comments section. Venturing into an abandoned cave can indeed unleash surprises, and it sounds like this couple got more than they bargained for. They were on a hike in the mountains when they heard a noise coming from the cave nearby. Now, most folks call it a day, but not these two. They decide to soldier on. As they went further into the cave, the noise strangely stopped, but they still decided to check it out, and what they saw scared them out of the place. There, emerging from the darkness of the cave, was a creature with glowing eyes. It was very slender and tall and made a strange ticking sound. What could they have seen in the cave? Logically, there could be several explanations. It might be a creature native to the cave, perhaps a type of animal adapted to low-light conditions. Looking at its features, however, I'm pretty sure it's something sinister. AI is everywhere now and involved in everything now that we basically can no longer imagine a future without some sort of AI. But is AI as safe as we think it is? Before you answer, watch this footage. Yes, those are AI robots sitting in a game. While many think this is cute and represents an advancement in the human race, you have to agree that it could be also dangerous. I mean, what if these things turn on us and start attacking? Who would be there to keep us safe?
There are a number of questionable things that have been spotted in the skies, from oddly shaped crafts to strange lights. Another phenomenon that has caught attention lately is the emergence of strange-looking objects resembling jellyfish. Take a look at this footage. Two of these jellyfish-like objects are seen moving about in the sky. These things look like dark shapes as they drift and float, almost as if they have a life of their own. Now, some may argue that these objects might be balloons, but take a closer look at their fluid organic movements. Unlike typical balloons that float aimlessly or follow wind patterns, these objects seem to move with a deliberate and eerie grace that's hard to explain. Could this be the real thing, or am I just seeing things that aren't there?
Ariel!
This chilling footage was captured in an underground garage. A couple was standing there when a glowing ring appeared out of nowhere. The man, curious or perhaps drawn to it, steps into the ring and vanishes instantly along with the glowing ring. The woman, witnessing this astonishing event, immediately runs off in a panic. What could this mysterious glowing ring be? Is it a portal to another dimension, a wormhole, or something else entirely? The footage is both fascinating and unnerving, leaving us with more questions than answers. That's what I'd love to say, but if this is true, why wasn't it reported? And if it was, why wasn't this clip ever made public? So many questions, yet little to no answers. Anyway, what do you guys think?
After a heavy snowstorm, a man began to hear strange noises coming from the woods. My rule of thumb in such situations is to stay put and not go out, but this man did the opposite.
I got something coming down, man. I got something screaming down there. I don't know what this is, man. Something screaming down there, man. Hello? Where are you? Show yourself right now!
As we can tell from the footage, he went out in search of the origin of the noise. As he got closer, he noticed that the noise did not belong to any animal he knew, which made him panic. Judging from the sound, we can tell it's a huge creature. We don't, however, see the creature to judge. Some think it's a Wendigo, but like I said, we don't see anything. Do you? In Georgia, a pair of famous YouTubers set out into the woods to investigate an old abandoned house. When they got there, the house was empty with not much to film, so they decided to look around. This led them to the lower part of the house. As they were there, they heard footsteps coming from the house above them, which was strange because they were the only ones present.
That's a 1958 Coke bottle, right? What is that?
So they crawled out of there only to be met with silence and emptiness. Who was that third person they heard? Was it the ghost of the former resident of the house, or was it a spirit present? Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment? If you haven't already, it goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. This was allegedly discovered in the desert, but for the many war movies and games I've indulged in, I would have thought this was alien. It, however, looks like an unmanned aircraft or drone. It was found by ordinary folks who recorded and uploaded their discovery online. You would have expected some government to claim it at this point in time, but no. At the time of making this video, whoever uploaded it stated that no government had claimed ownership of what it is, which is odd. No military likes to lose their toys, which makes this odd. But do you also know what militaries dislike the most? Their actions being exposed to the general public. What if their drone was on a secret mission when it crashed? If that's the case, it would make sense that the military would delay acknowledging it's theirs until they had their story straight. That being said, many think that this is a US drone. If that's the case, they might not have the clearance to operate in the airspace of Yemen. This might explain their hesitance to claim ownership, but then again, those are just my thoughts. What do you guys think?
23 هذا مقبل ولا ده 14 حرام انه 23 خط القناه
This giant fish had washed ashore, and you can already make a wild guess where the rest of its body is based on the massive bite marks covering it. Oh, the ocean really scares me. Just think about the caliber of fish that have caused this kind of damage. Even this head alone is bigger than the three men holding it up. Imagine how much larger its predator must be. The sheer size and power of whatever creature took a bite out of this giant fish are truly mind-boggling. The ocean is home to some incredible and terrifying creatures, and this serves as a stark reminder of the mysteries and dangers lurking beneath the waves. This was all I wanted to say about this video, but Julius thinks there might be something more at play here. He believes that a propeller could have done the damage due to the nature of the cuts on the fish's skin. For the first time in a long time, I'm challenging Julius's stand. Who do you think is right? Myself thinking it's a giant fish, or Julius thinking that a propeller might be responsible?
Computer processing programs are very good now at reproducing lighting from any angle. So we can use those computer techniques with the actual data.
Now look at something truly out of this world. Over the years, numerous researchers and drones have been deployed to Mars to explore the planet and assess its potential for human habitation. During one such mission, a strange and intriguing discovery was made. Back in 1976, a photograph taken of the Martian surface revealed what appeared to be a face. The original photo wasn't very clear, but it showed some facial features that had people talking. People were skeptical, debating whether it was an actual face or just a trick of light and shadows on the rocky terrain. Years later, scientists revisited the image with more advanced technology to scrutinize it further. This time, they produced a much clearer image that undeniably showed a shape resembling a human face on the planet's surface. The detail was remarkable, and it reignited the debate about what this face could be. Some experts have suggested that the face is simply the result of natural phenomena, perhaps unusual rock formations or shadows cast by the terrain. However, as time had passed, there remains a lingering uncertainty about the original nature of this face. What do you think? What do you think is going on here? Coming across stones arranged like that by the seaside is already intriguing, but what's mind-boggling is that some of the stones are actually moving mid-air. There's even a large stone floating with smaller stones rotating around it. What in the world is this? Some might think this is a clever illusion, perhaps even some advanced technology at work. Others wonder if it's evidence of something supernatural or otherworldly. As intriguing as those may sound, let's not forget the many advancements in special effects and video editing. In today's digital age, creating such illusions on camera is entirely possible. That's my take, though. What do you think? Back in 2014, Dennis Coleman was out in the woods when he decided to take a picture of what he thought was a tree branch using his trusty Motorola flip phone. However, right after taking the picture, he heard a strange, loud noise on his right side, which made him turn around. When he got home, he decided to take a closer look at the image he had taken and noticed that there was indeed something in the tree that he had captured. Thanks to modern tools today, he decided to upscale the image and use manual editing to adjust the contrast and balance, which resulted in the image we see today. According to Dennis, the image shows something that was not a tree branch. He believes that he might have captured an image of a Bigfoot. When the image was shared, some claimed that it was indeed a Bigfoot, while many others remained skeptical about the whole thing. Some even told him it was nothing more than a monkey. Dennis disagrees, and we can see why. Looking at the image, what do you think of it? Do you believe that Dennis might have captured an image of a Bigfoot, or is it just a monkey? Now, let's take a look at something more supernatural. This is an alleged image of Jesus Christ, the most popular and important figure in the Christian religion. In the footage, the image shows the picture of Jesus with his eyes closed, but after a while, the image opens its eyes and you will see tears coming from it when you look closely. There were some who thought this was demonic and evil. Their interpretation is rooted in a belief in the supernatural and the presence of forces beyond our comprehension. Many, however, brushed it off as a trick of the light, an optical illusion, if you may. After a second and third look, well, I'm tempted to believe this is the case. What do you guys think? TikTok users D's Dark Adventures posted something chilling to her page.
Yeah. Hi. Hi.
In the video, she's gone hiking in the woods in Ohio. As she was deep in the woods, she began to feel uneasy, so she took out her phone and began recording. That's when she saw it. A very tall, dark figure with glowing eyes stood in the shadows. Terrified, she began to run. As she reached a clear field, she looked back and saw the dark figure still pursuing her. Panicked, she screamed and yelled at it, trying to scare it away, but it didn't budge. Luckily, she managed to run out of the woods safely. This encounter is straight out of a horror movie. The tall, dark figure with glowing eyes is reminiscent of numerous folklore and urban legends about shadowy entities that haunt forests and remote areas. Such figures are often described as malevolent spirits, guardians of the woods, or even cryptids. What do you think this dark entity could be?
Hi. Hi.
So I've heard of every living creature having its own unique sounds and frequency. What I didn't expect was to one day wake up to individuals recording music or sounds from plants. Confused? Well, watch this.
You ever heard what a lavender plant sounds like? Let's take a listen.
So this lady approaches the lavender plant, connects a couple of wires, and we get to hear music that's coming from the plant. I was very ready to come on here and type a fake. After some research, however, I had a change of mind and heart. There's actually a technology out there that's capable of this, and the most prominent of these is PlantWave. The technology works by converting plant biorhythms into music. Sensors or wires are attached to the plant, and then the plant wave technology detects the changes in the plants based on the moving water around.
These are then graphed and then translated into pitch and then run through instruments designed by the firm, which gives the music we hear from the plants. It's a tad complex, but hopefully I was able to capture the essentials in this explanation. Now tell me, what plant would you want to try this technology on? Don't be shy, I would be reading the comments. Now here we have another close call with an elevator. This footage was taken from the security camera in the elevator. A man and a woman were riding in an elevator going about their day when suddenly things took a terrifying turn. As the woman exits the elevator, the man remains inside using what appears to be an iron rod to prop the doors open while he retrieves his belongings. But fate has other plans in store. In a hard-stopping moment, the elevator doors begin to close with the iron rod still wedged between them and the man's foot, precariously positioned. Before anyone can react, the elevator lurches into motion, threatening to trap the man's leg in its unforgiving grasp. With lightning-fast reflexes, the man manages to free his leg from the impending danger, narrowly avoiding a potentially disastrous outcome. As the elevator grinds to a halt, he proceeds to pry the rod out, and as you can see, the metal is bent. This man was really lucky. Is Bigfoot dangerous? Well, most would probably say no, but there are still some who think the big guy is. The assumption is that the big guy loves to avoid people but is still very territorial and would protect his home. Some have shared accounts of them being attacked. Our next clip is one such account. This was recorded by a man who ventured into the woods to find the big guy. His trip met an unexpected twist when a stone was hurled toward him. The rock hit him on the head, causing him to lose consciousness. Despite this, his phone continued to record and it captured strange, eerie sounds emanating from the forest. The sounds were like howls and growls that echoed through the woods, leading him to believe that it was Bigfoot who had attacked him. This deviates from a lot of the things that we know about the big guy, the stone attack. Really? Bigfoot? Forgive me, but sometimes things like this are just a hard pill to swallow, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. In fact, the authenticity of the clip is being questioned. Even if the clip is the real deal, some think there might be another creature responsible for the attack. What do you guys think? The world keeps getting freakier by the day, just when you thought you'd seen it all.
What the fuck am I looking at?
A woman was driving behind a car when they had to stop for a train to pass by. As they were waiting, something truly bizarre happened. The driver of the car in front of her got out and began walking back and forth, and there was something very unusual about him. He appeared to have a third leg, and no, not what you're thinking, an actual third leg. How is this possible? Is it some form of birth defect, or is the man playing a trick? Because this looks so bizarre. A three-legged man is not impossible, but it's certainly not something you expect to see. The man moved around naturally as if having a third leg was perfectly normal. In rare cases, people can be born with extra limbs due to a condition called polymorphia. These extra limbs are often non-functional and can be surgically removed, but in some cases, individuals choose to keep them. It's also possible that this man was using some kind of device for reasons unknown to the observer, but what do you think?
What the fuck am I looking at here? What the fuck am I looking at?
officially freaked the fuck out, okay? This is my charger. Fast charger, got it on Amazon. It's got the little side thing, black. This is my charger, okay? I took my cord out of my charger like I do every single day when I go to pick up the kids. I wrapped up my cord, put it in my purse, put this on top of my Q-tip jar in my vanity like I do every single day. I take my card with me in the car to plug in the car charger, so I don't need this. And then when I come home, I get it off the Q-tip thing, whatever, so on and so forth. I turned around and went back to my purse, and I saw... Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I'm shaking. I'm freaked out. And I saw this. Look at it. Same exact charger, but I don't have another one of these. I grabbed it and I went, what? I just put that over there. And then I went back to go sit it down thinking I thought something different, and there's two. And I don't have two. I don't have two of these.
This woman found another charger in her purse after taking one out, and now she has two, but she insists she never bought an extra one. This mysterious occurrence, often referred to as glitches in the matrix, are becoming more common. People report finding duplicates of items like chargers, keys, or even pieces of clothing without any explanation for where the extras came from. Skeptics might argue that these incidents are simply cases of forgetfulness or coincidence. Perhaps the woman did buy an extra charger at some point and simply forgot about it. Or maybe it was a gift that slipped her mind. However, the growing number of similar stories makes us wonder if something more unusual is happening. Many individuals in the community believe these occurrences are indeed glitches. One comment that caught my eye was this particular one. Am I the only one who finds the comment funny and brilliant? Hopefully it gave you a good laugh.
Something different, and there's two. And I don't have two. I don't have two of these.
A couple was out one night when the woman noticed something strange in the sky. There was a patch of clouds glowing in eerie orange, and in the middle of this glowing patch was a thick vertical line. What could this be? Is there something behind the clouds that's causing this unusual reflection, or are we witnessing something otherworldly? The sight left both of them baffled, and they managed to capture it on camera. The glowing clouds and the mysterious vertical line have sparked a lot of questions. Is it a natural phenomenon, some kind of atmospheric event, or perhaps a glimpse into something beyond our understanding? You've seen the clip as well. Let us know what you think. We got a clip that reminds me of the cloak of invisibility from Harry Potter. This time, however, there are dogs involved. Take a look. You might probably be wondering what's happening here. Allow me to explain. A man was out with his dogs when they picked up the scent of something or someone and went after it. Here's the thing though. While the dog chased after whatever it was that they had picked up, the man couldn't see anything. He found the behavior odd and started to record. He thought his dogs were out there just being crazy and spoiled. That's at least until whatever they were chasing pushed back. At that moment, the man was startled, confused, and a little scared. Who can blame him? Did you see anything or anyone? No, right? Fortunately for him, he had captured the whole thing on camera. Whatever was behind the movement was not seen again. He had to retreat with his dogs because he felt it wasn't very safe. On his return home, he watched the clip over and over and over, but just couldn't place his finger on what he was dealing with. He uploaded it online and many theories came up. Some thought it had to be a cloaked alien exploring the woods. Some also thought it might be a Sasquatch that had found a way to cloak itself. Others also thought it might be a paranormal or otherworldly entity. Looking at it, it could be any of these things. My team members say if you look hard enough, you can see a humanoid creature in the clip. You guys have seen the clip too, so what do you think? Take a look at this startling footage, a large greenish orb descending from the sky and landing on Earth. It's a sight that is both mesmerizing and alarming. Could this be a comet or some other celestial object? Some viewers are convinced that what we are seeing is a comet, a natural phenomenon where a chunk of ice and rock from outer space enters Earth's atmosphere, burning brightly as it descends. The greenish hue might suggest the presence of certain elements like copper or nickel, which can burn green when heated. However, skeptics think otherwise. Many people believe this footage is digitally altered. One key piece of evidence is the lack of reflection of the orb's light on the water below. If the orb was real and as bright as it appears, we would expect to see its light reflected in the surrounding environment, especially on the water's surface. What do you think?
I don't know what the fuck this is, rolling around in this water. There ain't nothing there. But you don't see anything. I went away, and then it just stopped. What the fuck was that?
Now, this is something you don't see every day. At first glance, I thought this had to be AI, but the individual who posted it insisted it was real and there were actually individuals trying to explain it away. One individual even posted, "This usually happens when the elements of the distributed oxygen amongst the perpetual nucleus generates chemicals to react to such abnormal hypothesis, segregating in unique formation that utilizes the recalculated stigmatisms that articulately understands patterns of the strategic non-placement of the reconstruction of the general systematic patterns of the geological restoration of the H2O that's transparent to visual effects of circulatory motion." When I saw this, I believed this was the explanation, although I didn't understand a word it was saying. So I walked toward Julius, showing him the video, and started to explain using the same words this lad used. Julius took a second to look at me and respectfully told me I had spoken gibberish. What I had said made no scientific sense. That hurt my soul. It's easier to have him look down on me for not knowing, but for him to do so because I said a lot of wrong stuff hurt in a way I didn't know was possible. It turned out there were others who called out the individual for typing things that was not true, but I missed it because I was so preoccupied with showing off to Julius. Whatever the case, you shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet, even if it sounds smart.
What the fuck this is, rolling around in this water. There ain't nothing there. But you don't see anything. I went away.
Now let's dive into a fun fact. Did you know that there are animals that seemingly do not die of old age? One fascinating example is the crocodile. These ancient reptiles do not have a finite lifespan in the ways many other animals do. Instead, they continue to grow and live for an incredibly long time, providing the conditions are right. Crocodiles don't die of old age. They continue to thrive and grow bigger year after year. The primary reasons that they die are due to illness, starvation, or being killed by predators or humans. Under optimal conditions, a crocodile can live for decades, showcasing nature's remarkable design. I found this fact astonishing and quite incredible. Did you know about this? It certainly adds a new layer of intrigue to these formidable creatures. Next, we move on to a strange footage that was allegedly captured at the Nicaraguan cathedral. The video shows a winged creature climbing up to the top of the cathedral and then flying off. The one who uploaded it believed he had captured a gargoyle. Originally, before the fantastical interpretations, gargoyles were animal carvings placed on buildings, mostly cathedrals and other sophisticated structures, serving as water spouts to direct rain away from the buildings. Beyond their practical use, they also had spiritual significance and were believed to serve as guardians, protecting the building from evil spirits. According to legend, these statues could come to life. But when you look at this footage, it seems a bit too cartoonish to be a real gargoyle. The movements and appearance of the creature don't quite match the stone-like ancient feel we associate with gargoyles. Could this be a hoax or some clever CGI? Julius seems to think so. Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, thinks it could be real. Personally, I'm on the side of Julius, but you guys let me know what you think. Anyone who knows anything about the pyramids knows that they have been a subject of speculation, with some thinking they were built by aliens or beings beyond our comprehension. This clip tells a similar story. As impressive as Giza is, there are some speculations of another pyramid in Bosnia known as the Pyramid of the Sun. If you're wondering why you've never heard of it, the answer is simple. It's the size of a mountain and it's covered in vegetation. In fact, no one thought anything of it until an archaeologist realized that the shape of the mountain looked like a pyramid. Aside from the sides and slopes that connect perfectly, an apex which is characteristic of pyramids, this suspected pyramid is also aligned with the true north, which is also another mysterious feature of the pyramids. They also measured EMF readers to the top and recorded readings of up to 60 times what's expected from our planet. Aside from that, it had 4 other hills or mountains around it that archaeologists suspect to be pyramids as well. If you know much about pyramids, then you know this is the norm with them as well. What's more, before the other pyramids were excavated, they were covered with foliage too, just like this one. The difference with this one is its size. The rocks there were carbon dated, and they went back as far as 35,000 years ago. The scientific implications of that are great. One would think a discovery like this would be welcome, but the archaeologists and all who worked on it were discredited and accused of planting evidence to make it look like that. Now, I don't know about you, but I find the whole thing suspicious. Has any of you heard about this alleged pyramid before, and what do you make of it?
Ooh, a fairy! Wait, actually, what the hell? Guys, that does not look like an ordinary bug. Okay, I'm catching this fairy, bro. What the frick? Yo, hell no!
This clip was recorded by a young lady who was sitting out in a yard one night with her friends. What was supposed to be an ordinary night out with friends became something rather extraordinary. You see it, don't you? The glowing creature flying around the yard. Aside from glowing, it was also darting and bouncing around, making it hard to make out its exact features. Yet for one undeniable characteristic, it was glowing. It wasn't tiny either, to be described as a bug, which adds to the intrigue. Sure, some fireflies can create a similar effect, but the person who captured this footage swears that what she saw was a fairy. It looked more like it had a humanoid body than that of a bug. If you're familiar with this channel and our paranormal content, then you know what we used to think were only fairy tales are now becoming more of a reality. Many people have come forward with accounts and footage of encountering creatures we once thought never existed. This clip is no different, but the big question on everyone's mind is this actually real? What say you?
Actually, what the hell? Guys, that does not look like an ordinary bug. Okay, I'm catching this fairy, bro. What the frick? Yo, hell no!
Here we have another wonder that was captured in the night sky of Panama City. If you watch carefully, there appears to be a peculiar glow emanating from behind the clouds. Many who saw it had the impression that it could be originating from some sort of unidentified flying craft. While sightings of UFOs or unidentified flying objects are not a new phenomenon, they still manage to grab our attention and leave us in awe. With the footage available, it's hard to determine what exactly this could be. This one, for instance, has the paranormal community divided. Some are convinced it is truly a UAP, while others are seeing nothing more than a video manipulation meant to mislead. Now I'd like to hear your thoughts too. What do you think about this sighting? What do you do when you come across coins that have never been officially made and circulated by any government in the world, especially when it looks alien and seems like it could have come from an alternate reality? Well, everyone knows you record and put it on the internet. Of course, that's exactly what the one who uploaded this online did, and it created one of the most heated debates we've ever had in a long time on one of our paranormal pages. Some argued that it could have been carved by someone for the purposes of mischief, while others argued it could have been alien. Others also thought it might have found its way into our world from an alternate reality through a rift in space and time. Yes, I know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's not impossible. Upon further research, we discovered that the coin in question bears a striking resemblance to a hobo nickel, a sculptural art form involved in creating modification of small denomination coins, resulting in miniature bas-reliefs. The United States nickel coin was favored because of its size, thickness, and softness, making it an ideal canvas for artistic expression. While the term hobo nickel is generic, carvings have been made from many denominations, and it's possible that this coin is an example of this art form. However, the unusual design and features of the coin still leave many questions unanswered, fueling the debate and speculation about its origin. This footage was taken in Orlando, Florida, where a huge blue orb was seen flying by. Just look at it. While many hoaxes and fake videos are circulating online, this one feels different. The way it moves in the vivid blue color is truly mesmerizing and eerie. Could this be a genuine sighting of something otherworldly, or is it just another elaborate trick? Florida's history of sightings and mysterious events only adds to the intrigue. From glowing orbs to unexplained aerial phenomenon, the Sunshine State seems to be a focal point for the unexplained. Florida has had many sightings of strange phenomena over the years, making it a hotspot for UFO enthusiasts and paranormal investigators alike. So my question is, what is going on out there in Florida? Is there some sort of portal or interdimensional gateway, or is there a rational explanation for these sightings? Please share your thoughts. This man is shaking, clearly in shock, and lodged in his cap is the disc from a cutting wheel. The disc would have gone right into his skull if he hadn't been wearing a cap that day. Just look at how he's trembling. It looks like his life is flashing before his eyes. This close call is a stark reminder of the unpredictable dangers we face daily. The cutting wheel disc, a tool designed for precision and strength, became a potentially lethal projectile in an instant. The cap, a seemingly insignificant piece of clothing, turned out to be a lifesaver, preventing a catastrophic injury. As the man stands there shaking, it's easy to imagine the rush of thoughts and emotions running through his mind. In moments like these, people often report a sensation of time slowing down, replaying key moments of their lives as they grapple with the gravity of the situation. Have you ever had a close call that made you reevaluate safety precautions? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. What do angels look like? There are various depictions of what these creatures could be. Some say there are light beings, others call them interdimensional, some heavenly, and so many more. Someone looking into the sky using a telescope spotted these in the sky. Strange lights, an entity moving across the sky, and there was this particular one that was a luminous thing that was rotating and changing shape as if floating away. People had a lot to say about this. Some thought it was an angel or some heavenly being, but others called it an atmospheric biological being. First time I've heard of this, and another called it a plasma being. Some also thought it was just debris and that we were seeing things that were not there. Aaron, my in-house intern on all things paranormal, thinks there's something there, but Julius, the scientific intern amongst us, thinks this is nothing more than a sham to mislead believers in the paranormal. What's your take?
In every part of the world, people have their religions and traditions that they hold dear. But would you be willing to die for a religious festival? In India, there's a festival known as the Kumbh Mela, where millions of people gather from all over to take part in this sacred event. But despite its spiritual significance, the festival is infamous for the loss of life caused by the overcrowding and dangerous stampedes. Back in 2009, during the festival, a human stampede broke out, killing 30 people and leaving 60 others injured. It doesn't stop there. In 1954, over 800 people lost their lives in a crowd surge, and in 2013, 36 more people died under similar circumstances. The Kumbh Mela happens every 12 years, and despite the tragic history, people continue to attend in massive numbers, risking their lives for faith and tradition. It really makes you wonder how far people would go for their beliefs. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us, and we will post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.